Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka the Terrible Australian of Supermarsy.com, and this is my video review of, Paul BLART Mall Cop 2. So let's get right into it. I should start off by saying first, I had seen the first, and I'm just going to put this, I didn't think it was the worst movie ever. Like, yes, it sucked, but I didn't think it was the flat-out terrible movie that I expected it to be. So from what I remember, I think I gave the first film like 2 stars. Like there was a lot of stuff that sucked about it, but I thought that at least, the sort of likable sort of presence of Kevin James sort of made that film sort of tolerable. Like, yeah, there was sort of a lot of like a lowbrow humor and sort of basically slapstick jokes and basically consisting of Kevin James just falling down all the time. But I did feel like, as I said before, Kevin James had sort of this sort of likable presence about him that I didn't fully hate the first film, and and he sort of made it more tolerable for me. Unfortunately, I can't say that about the second film, which I don't think anyone was screaming for a Paul BLART Mall Cop 2 film. I don't know. I know the first film was pretty huge when it came out, and I don't think anyone was actually, like I said, wasn't screaming for a follow-up. And it's actually been quite a while since the last film came out. I can't even remember when it came out. Probably, was it 2008, 2009? I can't even remember, to be honest. So, might have been 2007. So, forgive me if I'm not exactly sure. This film, I'm just going to put it out there. This film was friggin' terrible. This was just, even though, yes, I just was just so, this film was just so bad. And I think what made it worse for me is, like, Kevin James. Like I said, I thought he was likable in the first film, but I just was flat out annoyed by him in the sequel. And I feel like the reason why that is, I think he was just trying way too hard with his performance to be funny. Like, you could just, I felt honestly embarrassed for him. Like, you can tell, it almost seems like he knew, like, the scene, like, whatever scene he was in wasn't going anywhere in terms of humor. So I guess he tried to, improvise it, or try to come up with ways to make it more funny and stretch it out longer to make it funny. But unfortunately, it just ended up getting more and more and more worse as it goes along. And it just was embarrassing. And I honestly felt really sorry for the guy. Like, I know he was involved with this one. Besides starring in the film, he also co-wrote it and produced it. But it was just, the film just feels so lazy. The plot is dumb. Like, it's a plot we've seen a billion, zillion, trillion times before, and it doesn't really add anything new, or at least do it in a way that's executed well. So the humor was all over the place. It was just dumb. Like, all the jokes fell flat. There was nothing about this film that was funny at all, and it just was embarrassing. I just felt embarrassed for everyone and for making this film. And it just seems like I said before, it seems like they were just trying way too hard, and it just ends up falling flat for everything, from both a performance level, writing, directing, most importantly, humor. Nothing about this film is funny at all. I didn't laugh once. And also, like, the supporting cast, I just kind of felt sorry for them, because a lot of them didn't really were given much to do, and it didn't help that a lot of them gave really poor performances. And I don't know, it just was just infuriating, this film, and frustrating. And even though it's only a 90-minute film, it just felt like it just goes on way longer than it should. And I just got sick of it after a while, and that's probably the main reason what I found really annoying about this film, was that it was, like I said, Kevin James, I did feel, like I said before, he was likable in the first film, but in this one, his character comes off as whiny and needy and just flat out annoying, and there's none of that sort of likability about him as he was in the first film. And like I said, and Kevin James just tries way too hard, and basically his performance just falls back on stupid slapstick, sort of fat-shaming jokes about himself, and just falling down all the time, and it just gets boring and repetitive, and it just adds nothing. And I feel like Kevin James, when given the right material, he can actually be pretty funny and really good, but I feel like he's just not doing himself any favors with this film, and it's just crap. It's an utterly crap film, and I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a really terrible film. It's definitely one of the worst films I have seen at the cinema this year. It's not probably the worst one, because Mordecai has that '1 spot as the worst film I've seen all year. But at least with this film, and I'll give one positive about this film. I did think Raini Rodriguez, who plays Kevin James's daughter in the film, I actually thought she was fine. I thought she gave a sort of a likable performance, and she also sort of, you kind of felt for her character what she was going through, and I would feel for anyone in this film having to deal with Kevin James's character in this film. So in a way, I think out of all if there was one good thing about this film, I could say it's definitely her performance. I thought she was the only likable part about it. And another thing I felt really embarrassed by this film was that this film was shot by Academy Award-winning cinematographer Dean Semler. And I'm like, who shot Dances with Wolves and a whole bunch of other films. I mean, you won an Oscar for Dancing with Wolves. And I'm like, dude, why are you why are you the cinematographer of this film? Sorry, I didn't mean director, I meant Dean Semler was the cinematographer of this film. Andy Flickman, who was the director of this film, and his direction was terrible. But Dean Semler's great cinematographer, but why are you the cinematographer of this film? It's so bad. It looks... Actually, I would say this film did have one shot in this film I actually thought was pretty cool, and I thought, but I'm contributing that to Dean Semler rather than the director Andy Flickman, because it was probably like the only nice shot in this whole movie, and the film just looks flat and dull and boring and bland. So yeah, I really did not like this film at all. So if I had to give Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 a rating, it would definitely be 1 star. I really hated it that much. So yep, that's the end of my video review of Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. I hope you all enjoyed me ranting about it, and I'll see you guys all later. See you, everyone. Bye.